Not in that patch yet.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's coming.
That's what you know. I've been told the Reina rework's coming for a few years now. I'm still waiting, but
Well, that's
everyone's like, it's coming soon. I'm like people tell me that, they're like, I'm really excited. Like I see on Reddit, like Reina rework's coming soon. I'm sure. Let's be patient, guys. I'm like, it's never coming. Okay, give up. All right. Blizzard devs keep telling you the rework's coming soon, man. They've been telling me that for years. It's
hey,
not
Wolf,
coming.
you're not on Disney, but we can't destroy dreams here, okay?
All right.
But we're gonna be okay. We're going to Dragonshire, and this is even a scarier map. And the worst thing about Tempest is I play a lot of Hanzo myself, and Hanzo works pretty well in basically all battlegrounds. That's why it's so strong. Ballistix able to bring that out anytime. Inferno Shrine's of course great.
He's good in the 4-man on this map, and he's also good at clearing camps. So camp clear is going to be a big factor on this map if they let it through. It's scary because now we live in a world where, because we still only have 2 bans per team, when there's a lot of S-tier heroes that are viable, it becomes hard to target ban them all. And at the same time, when you have a hero that's only one team in Korea is realistically using to max effect, in this case the Hanzo, banning that gives you even more difficulty in the draft because you've left other things open. But again, I would rather see the Hanzo ban than the Maiev ban for Tempest if they felt that was... Like, I'd rather give Ballistix Maiev than give them Hanzo at this moment in time.
It's a tough one. Last time they were focusing on ETC, so they started with banning Garrosh, so Ballistix would be banning not Medivh.
Maiev.
Maiev, yes.
Sorry, man, I ruined it for you.
Yeah, you really ruined it. But Genji this time, it seems like maybe they are picking that Hanzo up by themselves.
I think they might just grab Malfurion here in first pick rotation. I prefer that because it gives you flexibility.
If they took no feedback from game number 1, and I think feedbacks can change. If they had some range, I think it could have been a different story in game 1. Of course, Hanzo was a great threat, but they can pick it themselves, or they can provide some pokes.
Well, the man on screen lockdown, like, he's the one who has to make the choice because, let's be frank for a second, his Hanzo is not as good as SC's. To take it away from SC leaves opportunities for Ballistix to pick Malfurion Tracer when Genji was banned over the Tracer. And so the Malfurion is the safer pick. And in a lot of moments here, you get worried. Or for a lot of teams, you would be worried about other compositions in this moment. But Ballistix is just going to do what they've done all season long and pick Hanzo Uther. They picked Malfurion over the Uther in the previous set because they didn't care about the Uther synergy with Hanzo. Sorry, they didn't care about the Uther synergy with Genji. This time Malfurion's taken away, so they just go back to old habits with the Uther. Dami's face says it all, man. It's like, you can't stop them from getting the Hanzo Uther unless you're willing to give them something that everyone else considers to be much stronger.
So what else do I do? What else do we do? So they go with the older one. They always had it in their drawer. Tracer and Tyrael, maybe some position swaps here as Sign is the one that plays Tracer when this case comes along. They're going with a different story now.
Dami can play Tyrael, so this is a swap that can occur. And this is a composition that's considered. I just want to put this out there. If you compare these 5 heroes that have been locked in draft, almost every Korean analyst points at Tempest draft, says this one's way better. Almost every person will universally agree. Malfurion Tracer Tyrael is one of the strongest things in this meta right now before Tyrael's shields get nerfed.
And also Tracer has some,
Tracer's rework as well. But right now, if you ask me, I'm terrified of SC's Hanzo. He's got it again. Next ban is a little bit tougher to choose because you don't know what they're going to do next. I like the Junkrat ban. It's been a common pairing with the Tracer. Good for the 4-man. And also fantastic at delaying unleashes of the Dragon Knight.
So you can tell the Ballistix first ban, of course, because they have to ban Maiev. They can't let that go as the first picks onto the other team. They banned that, but second ban, they have been focusing on those pokes. They're trying to just outrange them most of the time. Let's see how they want to finish the draft, I think it's going to be a very similar situation compared to game number 1. Of course, Tempest now has Tracer available, which could be a threat to Hanzo, but they're not scared of that.
Yeah. I mean, SC's positioning has been phenomenal. Pressure's on Sign now. Banning the Tyke, as we saw last game, is safe. And the only other thing that Sign is worried about here is will other heroes give Tracer trouble. And Genji can, he's removed. Maiev can, she's removed already. So you're just looking to basically say, as long as I'm at a safe distance from Uther's stuns, there's no silence on the other side, Tracer should be able to have a good time in this draft.
The only one that can really, if you're really good at the hero, that can give hard time to Tracer would be Dehaka. Isolation was a big tool.
It's a good point, actually. Not meta at the moment, but
not meta at the moment. It also fits the map too, and Jongha did like to play Dehaka a lot.
Yeah, you know, I like where you're going with this. It would be again Ballistix choosing a comp that's not meta but strong, still available.
Still just hiding that solo lane. So even Blaze is available for them. So either one, of course, pairing up CC against the Tracer with Blaze will be very tough.
Yeah, you know what? When I look back at the draft, now that you mentioned the Blaze, I feel like banning Blaze over Tychus might have actually even been smarter. Greymane comes in as basically a similar type of sustained damage hero, not as good at burning the tanks. But Blaze doesn't really work for Tempest composition. Like, Ballistix will just break the bunker in 2 seconds with Hanzo Greymane. It's not going to last. It's not going to mitigate much of anything. This is also Ballistix' best map for Hanzo. And I really like the Dehaka idea you mentioned. I don't know if they'll do it, but Ballistix is already telling us, like, I know Hanzo's not as meta now. He's nerfed, but we do it every time. We win. We
saw it in the final game, or even Jongha can just pick Leoric if everything's out of the question. Leoric's available, Dehaka,
Leoric's so strong with Hanzo as well. Tempest is clueless on what to do. They take the Dehaka, and it will be Cassia.
I think they were scared. I think they were potentially scared that Jongha was going to take Dehaka. Could be a big threat. One drag onto Tracer would be a kill for sure. So they take Dehaka themselves. Now, whatever is left for Jongha, who's on the camera right now, either Blaze, Sonya's also out there. Thrall could be another tool.
Cassia is so powerful of a pick because of the blinds, and that does kind of shut down a lot of the damage of Hanzo and Greymane, but only during certain periods of time, right? I don't think it's the end-all, be-all answer here, but I think it's still a smart one. I think Ballistix should just look for the Leoric pick here anyways. It's not a horrible matchup against Dehaka, and it's going to pair well with Greymane and Hanzo and ETC. Otherwise, I think if they really want to hit this hard, it could be time to pull out the Sonya. Go for the Blaze. So, not going to be a strong matchup against Dehaka. It's going to be okay, but the bunker is going to be great against Tracer.
And because they have Tempest has global, and also Dehaka can pressure into the backline when he joins the fight, especially against Hanzo, who will be looking for those exit of the team fight, providing safe distance away from the team fight. It could be another source of tool to pressure into the backline. So I like Tempest drafting into this style, taking away the picks, and they knew that was coming, so really working into it. And Dami has been playing lots of Dehaka too. Even Good can play Dehaka sometimes, so I think we're going to see some position swaps coming up from Tempest this time.
Oh, definitely so. You know, I think there's a strong chance that, okay, yeah, I was going to say, I think Dami, oh, Dami's playing Tracer.
What? Good is actually on Dehaka.
Yeah, Sign's on Tyrael. Wow, that means that we might be at the end of the era of Sign Tracer. And I can't say that I dislike this. This is actually in a purist's world, and I am a
as long as Dami
purist.
Plays on par of what Sign did.
But in the purist world of positions, this is correct. And this is how it's supposed to be. And I'm happy that now, even though Sign's had a fantastic Tracer forever, Tempest doesn't have to have a subpar non-main tank player play their Tyrael in these drafts anymore. Okay.
This is a big change and a risk to take for Tempest that they're losing right now in the series.
I like it though. It's bold, and it is going to set them up to have better material play.
It's already logical. We can kind of tell what's going to happen, and we can draw a picture how well it fits all the players and how well they can play with these heroes. So I like this change coming out from Tempest.
I really like the Cassia pick most of all. It's a nice kind of flexible pick that they've chosen against these two auto attackers that Ballistix has chosen. They put all their damage into one basket, so to speak, so that means that the blinds can really win you a fight straight up, depending on how the engagement goes. And as a result, I bet this is definitely not their original plan, but look at Greymaine's build. He's going for a cocktail build because he wants to split up how his damage works and not put it all into auto attacks because the blinds are just so strong against that.
Cocktail build, of course, still very viable. You can actually choose depending on the enemy team comp or your own team's team comp or what you try to do. If you want to poke a lot, along with Hanzo, I think that's what they're trying to do still. Of course, now that there's lots of range, Cassia Tracer will be a lot harder for backline to do just free damage.
Certainly so. Well, the camp invade drew Hanzo's attention away for a little while. They had to go bottom. Jungha will peel away here thanks to Hooligan. They were able to take this camp because they have Greymane during the meantime. Sprays coming down. L5 spray here for Ballistix. Seen a lot of Ballistix mounts as well today. They're definitely showing off their world championship titles here. But now that Tempest has lost control of the lanes, the only one they're really dominating obviously is the top lane because of Dahaka. They're struggling to lose, or they're starting to lose parts of the map. Like they lost this camp. Oh man, they even committed good down here. That is a big problem. This could be a Dragon Knight G-Club.
Great drag onto that power slide. What a play from Good.
That's how you turn things. This means that they should be able to deny the Dragon Knight. But like, if that had gone almost any other way, they could just rotate mid, get Dragon Knight, squat this with the ETC. Still trying to squat it, but not going to happen. They need to back off.
The power slide was going to basically guarantee a single kill.
Yeah.
But that drag play, the timing that he basically knew that power slide was coming in. That's the power of Dahaka because they had to do it because they committed Dahaka all the way to the bottom, as you mentioned.
It was a big commitment, but it worked out in the end. Experience, though, still ahead for Ballistix. In fact, they will regain the Moon Shrine, have control of mid. Actually going to see a commitment here for Dami to the smack there. He had Pulse Bomb, he held it, because he didn't have vision. Love to see moves like that, where if he actually had done about one more clip of damage, then the Pulse Bomb would have gotten the kill, but saves it, just to be sure, for a better opportunity.
Okay. Lots of range. This poke.
Yeah, see how much better they have how much better poke they have this time, and how blinds can really ruin the auto attacker's day. Like this time they can actually compete against the Hanzo. And
Lockdown actually soaks up a lot of the passive damage with her passive. So they can sustain so well with Mapiria in that way.
That's very true. Just gotta keep moving. And it's actually really frustrating for Ballistix right now. They're just getting bullied in this Twi lane right now.
Luckily Blaze is actually sustaining really well in the top lane. So Tempest can't really go all the way in, go for that Dragon Knight pressure in the mid lane. But that may end very soon when Dahaka tries to join any other lanes to get some potential picks.
Ooh, Dahaka's gonna have to leave. Okay, he does.
That's exactly why Ballistix is trying to pressure into the top lane.
I really like this camp though. This camp take by Tempest, moving in here, knowing that that was a big rotation top. Good's gonna get the drag again. Gets into the fort range, so this can actually be a fantastic trade for Good. They steal the camp, and they're rotating up. ETC needs to be careful now. Top lane, you can get experience from doing things like this, and threatening kills and damaging healing fountains. But at the end of the day, the top lane is insignificant in terms of ending the game. It's the least important lane, so what Tempest accomplished with this, grabbing the camp and now continuing to threaten the bottom wall, which is so much more important, is really working well for them.
It could have been a good bait because Tempest was having their rotation up, but actually SD was not in range to go into the wolf form. Good, I guess, good for both sides. But losing that top lane wall for good, I think that's gonna hurt overall because Ballistix, they lost the camp, but with the Hanzo scatter arrow build, it's so easy to, in that small choke point, it's so easy to get all your shots into the goal, and basically you can clear the camp in like 4 or 5 seconds alone. So it was not the worst trade that Ballistix had done by losing that camp.
Yeah, certainly. Interesting Eyes in the Dark with this cocktail build from Greymane. Got the baseline quest now, but gonna be really helpful against Tracer, that's for sure. So ETC holds his potential stage dive for a flank, but I think he's probably gonna go for the mosh pit.
There are lots of tools, and I think that's also why Malfurion is holding. It is mosh pit. Malfurion was holding that possibly a Twilight Dream or Tranquility. Let's see, all they have to do is stall, and Jungha can sustain himself.
That drag making it a lot harder though. Okay, he should be able to heal himself up here. Mosh pit locked in. Sank used to counter this, pulling Tracer out. Cleanse is used. Pulse bomb coming through, but SD's got a lot of health. Goes for the throat onto Dami. Not going to be the kill though. And this bouncy ball man is going to wipe the team.
All Lightning gets multiple kills in that team fight. Lockdown throwing that perfectly and getting a Dragon Knight. Even Jungha was contesting this entire time alone in the top lane. Tempest taking a significant lead right here just from this team fight.
This is a bad sign for Ballistix. Their early game was pretty solid overall, and they essentially lost control of the map when the rotation started to go against them, when they were trying to commit top, when Tempest was getting camps and getting more value bottom. So this was just a bad fight. And getting back into this game now is going to require you know, a lot of picks, I think, because they don't have control of macro anymore. They're up against Dahaka, which means it's even harder to do so. He can start split pushing top to open up another potential keep to help them get 16. That fort is definitely a realistic goal for Tempest right now. And, you know, Tempest could even look to, for example, invade the red side night camp because they have Tyrael. There's so much they can do. They're going to steal this camp first. They've got total control of the map now, total control of the macro, which this is the map where that matters the most by far. Take neutral camp. Ballistix is at the same time taking red side knights, so they're not going to be able to steal them, but I mean, I think Ballistix is really going to have to play an uphill battle here, and they're running a comp that's very difficult to get picks with.
Yep, basically if they miss a pick from Go for the Throat, then everything falls apart. And
that's exactly what happened.
And without Blaze, because they need that CC pair up, Power Slide, we saw Power Slide locking up Tracer once, but that was not enough, and they need that secondary CC coming in. Uther maybe, but not in position. That actually becomes a great risk for Magi to actually go all the way in. And Blaze is trapped all the way in the top lane all the time, so I think that's exactly what Tempest is winning that 4v4.
They've got a great push and great siege to actually take this keep by force.
Even the Golem's coming into the keep now.
Spell armor as well. So frustrating for Ballistix to try to push through this big stun coming through from Jungha.
The regrowth onto that wizard too. That's going to sustain it. So much damage from Cassia. Bunker will be gone very soon.
To get knocked into the keep, at least, that wizard. Shield coming through here. Mosh, though, it's the double. Divine Shield to lock it in. The holy cow here. Then paired with a perfectly timed arrow from SC. Sank comes down, though, and they just didn't have enough kills here to actually turn this fight. The Sank was so important.
What
Ballistix is going to lose this keep, and remember, they lost so much control of the game earlier. This is going to make it even tougher throughout this time, sure, the fort in the top lane went down, but we've talked about this time and time again. It just isn't important. It's the top fort.
Oh man,
that was, oh my god.
Jungha misses that, and Bunker barely saved himself there as this keep is going very low. There's a pulse bomb. Will be a kill secured.
He almost killed Jungha with that. That might have been game if Jungha died there. They're getting this keep easily now. Okay, big power slide coming through, but okay, that was actually unexpected. I didn't expect Dami to die there.
I see going with fire, trying to take down multiple targets, but lockdowns Cassia, and that sustain from Hyde has been working so well.
Okay, if they can grab another kill here, there's the slow.
Oh, look at that cleanse onto that jet propulsion. What a team play we're seeing here.
Okay, they save the keep.
Why doesn't that happen in my Hero League?
They can't prevent this. I don't have a question for you, G Club.
Oh, well,
I don't have to answer that question.
You can just ignore that. They got the Dragon Knight. The arrow is coming, passing by.
Do you know if he had arrow when Dahaka was channeling mid? Because if he did,
he certainly did.
I feel like he could have used it.
But it was going to be, I think it was slightly too late, maybe.
Yeah, I would love to go back and watch that because like the Dragon's arrow could have allowed them to kind of contest that after the pick they had. This isn't going to be a very powerful Dragon Knight, obviously, though. I feel like Dahaka should at least get the keep, though. I get it, it's like cool to be safe and all, but like he needs to get that because otherwise, you know, this is a great opportunity completely wasted, and they basically had the keep for free. They lost Dami trying to get the keep that they should have had anyways.
Right. Previously in this team fight when they had here, they had a pretty good mosh pit. The thing is, Hanzo was way too far away, and there was not a good angle where you can get burst damage from the scatter arrow. The lane that they're in right now is not the best place for Hanzo to bounce everything off. So it's making this situation even worse for SCSC right now.
Yeah. They got the keep, that's it. But this was inevitable. Had they not gotten this keep, Dami's death would have been in vain, and everything they worked on and all the map control they got, it would have not been able to capitalize on it. It would have still been ahead, but it would have felt silly. Now they have a pushing siege camp with the control of the map they have.
Oh, look at this pressure that Tempest is doing. Their tempo has never been this quick, and this is a new thing that they're trying right now. It seems almost perfectly practiced here.
I think Ballistix needs to take the fight to them. They have a comp that can fight this. Sure, it's going to be annoying against Twilight Dream and Sanctification to really force a fight, but I think they still have to try. They have better damage. As long as they can avoid the blind or just fight through the blind, they have the better damage. And if they just play passively and let Tempest run around the map for free, then they're never going to take another Dragon Knight, and they're going to eventually die to catapult pressure. I think they need to take a fight before that catapult pressure gets out of hand.
That's going to be soon. And they hit 18. They're looking for that 20, and they have the global
this could
themselves.
Be the fight. This could be the fight I'm talking about. They've
Tempest,
got to get in
they
there.
can just... They don't have to fight. All they have to do is run around the map. They have global. They have to keep catapult pressure now.
Okay, this is going to be a tough fight in this choke point. Tempest does not commit. Oh, Sign goes in. There's discoordination, though, in the team. Mosh is going to be the double, and that's the insta-kill on Tracer. That's the damage I'm talking about. And that was some miscommunication with Sign there, thinking the team was going to go for the fight. Sank comes down here, but the fight's already over.
They have enough damage, but Sign survives for such a long time. There goes in SDE. There are some trades off, of course, but Ballistix still coming on top, actually getting the camp too, so they can actually push in later on if they want to. Of course, pressuring a little bit more. Jungha decides to go pressure in, but that relieves so much pressure from the bot lane and everything else around the map for Ballistix.
They can't Dragon Knight here. Like, I suppose they can, but like someone needs to watch the bot camp or bot catapults.
I guess Blaze will just go run mid right after, and then try to get the Dragon Knight, and they can stall time.
So the catapults are about to start hitting the core, and they're losing health here on SDE. This isn't gonna work.
3 catapults on.
Like, the thing is, if they get a Dragon Knight too, all forts except top fort are up. Oh man, they might have just lost the game with this move, trying to grab this, trying to be greedy. SC's blocked out here by the Holy Ground. I think that's game over.
Onto Greymane, and catapults doing damage. Blaze comes in, and SC actually does not survive at the very end, but maybe game.
Yeah,
as
that's
Cassia is
definitely
very
game.
far away. They're still not 20, but Core is down to 76 already from the
Yeah.
catapults.
This was, I think, really greedy what Ballistix tried to do. And Tempest just prevented them from getting the Dragon Knight. It was really well done. It was all on sign, making up for the fact that his jump in was discoordinated earlier. He comes in, denies them from taking the Moonshine, denies them from grabbing Dragon Knight, puts that pressure on in the bot lane, and we are going to a tied series left 1-1 as Tempest takes game number 2.
I think they each made a mistake. Sign really going in towards that night camp on the left side. As you mentioned, it was big discoordination between the team. I'm pretty sure the communication miss was right there, and their call was very missed. And Ballistix, the reason why they went for the Dragon Knight at the end, because they were going to lose if they didn't. Tempest was about to hit 20. They were having catapults on the core. They knew everything that was happening, so it was a big risk, of course, but they just had to do it at the end. I feel like that was the only way of coming back into the game.
I feel like the other solution would have been to knock down 2 forts as best as you can, do as much damage as you can, try to catch up to 20, and then go kill the catapults. Would have been tough, but like getting the Dragon Knight would have meant they had to go through mid fort, mid keep wall, and then keep, or the bottom, the same thing, bot fort, bot keep wall, and then the keep. Respawns would have come through, and then they'd have to have someone go back anyways to deal with the catapults, so it would have been just a big mess. It was the best opportunity, I think, probably for the rest of the game for them to take a Dragon Knight, but trying to keep 20 even and just play behind despite the fact that they didn't have map control, I think was the better way. Because as you and I predicted, taking a fight was their best option. They did take a fight. They won the fight.
Yes.
So if they could keep doing that and deal with the catapults kind of in the interim, it would have been a very long game. It would have been tough, but I think that would have been the safer, more wise choice in Ballistix's position. And for the Dragon Knight, and SC died, and it was like all over. And that was it. It was done in that moment.
Good sign delaying, and good just coming into that bush, and they knew with a single kill the game was already over. But I feel like if they went for the safer way, they were going to be out-rotated over and over again, basically. Even I don't think Ballistix would have been able to even get level 20. Even after that, they would have been just out-macroed the entire game. Deaka was way too strong, and Tempest was, of course, even with that big mistake, they were able to capitalize and win game 2 with that global.
Well, before we go into game number 3 to see who is going to take match point, we're going to take a very short break. We'll be back soon.
Talents benefit multiple playstyles. Furious Blow now causes every 4th seismic slam to deal additional damage for no